Russia has deployed battalion of Ukrainian prisoners of war to front lines.
Here's a summary of the article.
Your profile can be used to present content that appears more relevant based on your possible interests, such as by adapting the order in which content is shown to you, so that it is even easier for you to find content that matches your interests. Content presented to you on this service can be based on your content personalization profiles, which can reflect your activity on this or other services, possible interests and personal aspects, such as by adapting the order in which content is shown to you, so that it is even easier for you to find content that matches your interests. Information regarding which content is presented to you and how you interact with it can be used to determine whether the content e.g. reached its intended audience and matched your interests. Reports can be generated based on the combination of data sets regarding your interactions and those of other users with advertising or content to identify common characteristics. Information about your activity on this service, such as your interaction with ads or content, can be very helpful to improve products and services and to build new products and services based on user interactions, the type of audience, etc. Content presented to you on this service can be based on limited data, such as the website or app you are using, your non-precise location, your device type, or which content you are interacting with. Certain information is used to ensure the technical compatibility of the content or advertising, and to facilitate the transmission of the content or ad to your device.
This post received a score of 6,900, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
What happens when they're given guns?
The usual scenario is that they're force-marched, unarmed, at enemy positions to draw fire. Cannon fodder.
Or divided up across the front and watched carefully. Can't really commit armed resistance when you're isolated.
Sure you can. It's suicide, but you might take an officer or two with you.
Greater than, but you might take an officer or two with you. Well, don't do that. The last thing we want is to improve the Russian military.
The guy they replace him with will undoubtedly be worse.
But probably won't have the corrupt connections the current guy does. The Russian military leadership is comically corrupt and inept. That's a good thing.
IDK if you've been following the causality lists, but the Russian officer corps has been completely gutted by this war. Experienced line officers are practically non-existent, colonels and in-theater generals are getting blown up at a rate of nearly twice a month, and that leaves the subalterns who should be leading units and gaining experience promoted and giving command over to even greener officers? Sure, corruption is a thing, but a complete absence of leadership, institutional knowledge and experience is going to hamstring Russian operational strategy and tactics in the day-to-day running of the conflict. There's a reason officers are always popular targets.
Definitely following, and yeah, the officer corps, like the rest of the military, has been absolutely decimated. They got rid of the morons and appointed semi-competent leaders who could execute military tactics. The average Russian officer's ability to execute combat operations ends at hiding in a bunker while ordering another fruitless meat wave. Russian officers are in no way a benefit to their soldiers or their military performance.
So I think the question is, are there war crimes the Russians haven't committed yet?
There really is not depth to the depravity of the Russians. What an amazing country it could have been if they put the money into their infrastructure and had good relations with the rest of the world, but instead choose to be the cunts they are.
For real. Before the war, I wanted to visit Russia, was super interested in their culture, etc., and now I'm really disappointed and couldn't care less about them. Dead to me.
Their country will only wither and die more now. They probably had an okay tourist economy before. Now it's probably non-existent.
Imagine having an age pyramid like this, and thinking, how can we make this even worse?
That's a pretty big reason for the why of the war. Among others. Because if Putin had waited much longer, the last of the pre-Soviet collapse population crash population would have aged out of being available for military service, and the Gen Z cohort's relatively small size would have limited their manpower severely for the next decade.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.